Hello, my name is Ethan, and welcome back to another episode of Path of Exile Kalandra League 3.19. In this episode, I'm going to be going over this new build that I want to show you guys today, and it's using another one of these uniques that got changed, like the Clay Shaper. I was hyping it up a lot. So the Wraithlord. The Wraithlord allows you to have +2 maximum number of Spectres at level 34. It's a 34 helmet, and you don't have other non-Spectre minions. Okay, so what can you actually do with this at like super early? Because you instead of only having 3 Spectres, 5, that's a lot, 66% more Spectres. But then yeah, no enemy guardian, no other minions. It's pretty crazy. So we have the 5 Spectres. I set up this POB, and we got it to, oh yeah, and the Spectre in question for this is going to be a Goatman Fire Raiser. And here you go. So you get the Goatman Fire Raiser from Act 6 Prisoner's Gate. And then the Goatman Fire Raiser actually has 3 abilities, and he's pretty tanky. I'll show you the stats before we get into it. So Goatman Fire Raiser, and we have Zombie versus Goat. And so Zombie is this average damage, and the Goat is this average damage. So the Goat is like 3 or 4 zombies. Which is really insane, and this is with nothing, like it's just the beginning, it's just basic, so then you can scale them up and everything, and they scale differently because obviously it's fire and it's spells, and this is AoE, this is AoE, and this is AoE, so then I want to go through those abilities. So it's, oh, the tankiness. Goat, Zombie. So 6,000, 10,000, you have more on the Goat by a lot. And then the abilities, like I said, 3 to 4 zombies in damage in the fireball, and then it has 6 base crit instead of 5, so it actually is 20% more as well, because the crit on the zombies only 5, and then it also uses 3 abilities, so it actually has a molten shell, and it also has a chain 2 magma orb. Better clear. AoE, Fireball, no cooldown on the main ability, 6 crit, huge damage, tankier than zombies. We can keep zombies alive. Can we keep this Spectre build alive? Okay, let's dig into it now. So what did I do? I realized I didn't need minion accuracy because it's all spells. You can only run Spectres. You could put them in the body. You could also put greater volley and GMP on them for more clear, but they're pretty good in general. I got them to 2.2, and I also showed I actually get them to 10.4 or something. I'll show you it after. So I did minion damage, spell echo, concentrated effect, elemental focus, and increased crit, and it was because I figured that we have 5 goats and they hit really fast, so therefore and they don't hit like really slow and really hard, so they won't have really big ignites. Even with the big ignite buff, it doesn't matter. And so just going normal supports was really good, and then not reducing the crit and going for crit multi with the new crit stuff. It might be that crit multi is worse and crit strike chance is better if we have more sources of crit multi, so this might be an alternative, and then you might be able to switch out crit damage for one of these greater volley or GMP for more clear. And then the items, I put a Wraithlord, so it's +2 number of Spectres. I did a Bones of Ullr to show that you could get +1 level of the Spectre on a boot, which was really good. The Jinxed Juju is really good for your survivability, taking damage from the Spectre's life before you, because you're a Spectre build. You can actually use it. Darkness Enthroned with just minion damage. I show also fire damage, but the minion damage is higher, so just even with the buff, this is buffed fire damage with 50% more at no level Spectre. Yeah, so even, yeah, I guess it's pre-nerf Spectre though, so it might be slightly better, but it's still gonna, I think it's still gonna be just flat minion damage when you use a skill recently is gonna be more damage. And then I show Unending Hunger for the chance to get Soul Eater for the Spectres, because you're a Spectre build. Fortress Covenant and Quickening Covenant are just really good options, and you have to put them in spots that do not ruin any of the notables, because the notables become minions take increased damage. And the other one down here would be the move speed instead of the notable, so I just have nothing allocated in the circle. And then for fun, I was like, yo, Spectre build, we could run Midnight Bargain, extra Spectre, Midnight Bargain, extra Spectre. Okay, so you have 7 specters. Oh no. Oh no, dude. Look at your life. But then there's more. You could run a Souls Wick because they made so much crit multi with the new Spirit Offering and the new crit multi on the tree and maybe a king. You can't make a Kingmaker in this build, but in general, so many sources of crit multi and maybe even more on the items. You could go Souls Wick with 1,000 increased crit strike chance. So this is like 5 of the old power charges on Spectres. It just makes them have a duration, so you have to summon them, but then they're absolutely broken. Okay, watch this. Then you could also Skin of the Lords for the +2. And then don't forget, you actually got 2 more off the Soul's Wick, so you have 9. You have to summon the specters though, and they only last 20 seconds. And you could kind of increase the duration and shit through like the enduring bond. You could get skill effect duration. You could get Mistress of Sacrifice for the skill effect duration. You could make these specters last a while, and this is pretty funny. This is really cool that this is possible. Now I'll take them out. I just wanted to show you that as a meme of like, yo, since this is the crit damage season, Soul's Wick is 1,000 crit strike chance, which is actually disgusting. So, you know, Wraithlord is cool, but you know what's even cooler? Soul's Wick. And when you combine them together, you've broken the game. Oh, I take out the Skin of the Lords too. We don't need that. But yeah, pumping out 2.2 in the beginning with like this is okay, and then it's just pure specters, and the goats are gonna have decent clear, and like they can be sucked in the chest play, and then you could even do greater volley. And the fun stuff about this though is zealotry, generosity. Okay, you have defiance banner, you have determination. This is a Vaal haste you use. You press the Vaal haste. You could also disable it and just use the other thing. Sniper's mark instead of assassin's mark. It does more damage because you're a projectile with the increased damage taken. Grace, so we have really high armor and evasion. We can still have gear. And anger, you can also do this with generosity because you don't need the anger, so you actually get a little bit more out of it. It's not that much more, but you get a little bit more. It's the range of the aura too. And this was part of why the added fire to the belt wasn't as good. We need more increased damage when we don't have extra increased damage for the minions. And then Vaal Impurity of Fire ignores enemy fire res for hits, so this is really cool. It's a 3-second duration, 50 soul gain, 8-second soul gain prevention. You could increase the duration of this, and any of the other skill effect duration you get would affect that as well. And I find this is stronger than any of the penetration that you could really like get early. This is really strong, and 3 seconds isn't that short. Vaal Haste is 4 seconds. And then I was saying how you could drop one of these to drop Vaal Haste to go for Vaal Impurity of Fire. And then this is actually really strong. You could even use like a low level one and it just has it. It's crazy. Then ignoring the enemy fire res is like one of the craziest things, because then you don't have to worry about a penetration in your links, and you don't have to run the curse for it, so you can run Sniper's Mark or Assassin's Mark. It's really strong. But then obviously your damage against high fire res targets is through Vaal skill, which is similar to the triumvirate authority ring that we used for the Vaal Skellies, where it would bypass the physical damage reduction and the enemy enemy resistances. Yeah, it's really cool. Triumvirate authority, poison skeletons coming up. This build is really sick though. It was really cool to be able to put Wraithlord and get a billion specters and to show it off. Oh, the main thing though is putting this all together. It looks really strong if you Souls Wick. And then it doesn't look as strong without, and it doesn't look as strong as the golems, and the fact that you can't run other minions, the losses are massive. Feeding Frenzy, Combustion, minus the elemental res, exposure, there's so many things that it makes easier. We're losing a lot going this helmet, so you could almost just Souls Wick and then go normal minions and then just have your temporary specters, and this would be really strong. So like dropping Wraithlord and going Souls Wick. So this actually just brings you back to Souls Wick, and it's so funny how strong that is. Soul's Wick seems pretty good, and then the fact that we have the new Desecrate pool too, where so the specters you raise are then shared on your player and are brought to new areas, and you can actually like raise your specters everywhere, even though the specter isn't brought to the new area, because normally you would have had to bring the specter to the area to be able to raise it, but now we have like a permanent list on our character of specters we can raise, like recent specters, no matter what area you're in. So you could actually raise your specter in a boss fight with Soul's Wick. Like, it's real functionality that didn't exist before. So you could get your good specter wherever you want, and Soul's Wick is actually a build. It's not something I really want to do, but this is so strong that it almost has to be a thing now because of the change to how much sources of crit multi you can get, and this puts you straight onto Soul's Wick. So how expensive is this going to be at league start, and are people going to be doing uber bosses with some Soul's Wick cheese specter build? And what specter are they going to use? Are they going to use my 6 base crit fire goat? Because look, you have 6 base crit. You get the +2 from the brittle. You could get an extra 2 through the increased crit strike chance as well, but crit multi's good here too. Then yes, Soul's Wick, and you get an extra 2 specters as well. It's disgusting. And so it's crazy how just that one jewel, 2.5 times damage. Yup. But then yeah, you have to summon your specters. We had 7, not 6. This shit's insane though. I'll show you one more thing, which is where you have, let's say, you can apply an additional curse, and you'll just do that twice in here. So the idea would be that you could run flammability and LE weakness on some like blasphemy thing, and then the specter, you'd have to drop one of these to go firepen. And then you see how you get more damage, but then it's less, and then this has to have double extra curse, and then what about if they're reduced curse, and where this was just the uptime on your Vaal Impurity of Fire off just one skill? It's pretty simple. You could, like I said, increase duration, do some extra fun stuff to this. It's pretty cool, and it's crazy how much gem sockets you have when you don't have the extra minions and stuff, and all those extra supports. And then the reason how this works instead is minus 44 fire res, minus 39 res, and we penetrate 34. So when you actually look at the calculations, you see here, it'll show the enemy res, so they have 20, and then with the penetration, minus 42, it takes it to minus 22 res. That's what we're looking at. So you actually could do more damage with this than the Vaal Impurity of Fire, where it just set them to 0. But the Vaal Impurity of Fire is only a Vaal skill, and also you see how it just sets them to 0, so you actually lose the penetration, but this took a gem link to get the extra penetration. Otherwise we wouldn't have had them at negative. It took that much res deletion to equal, yeah, and then it was still better just to do the other one for the when you have the uptime of Vaal Impurity of Fire. It's really crazy though that you can do this. Alright, I filled out the build to finish it off for you, so you could technically play this, but I don't recommend it based on the fact of the enemy fire res and needing the Vaal Impurity of Fire or doing all of that penetration shit. And then, like I say, we're just missing, in my opinion, Feeding Frenzy, Combustion, all these supports I want, Exposure, LE Army, basically. There's a lot of shit I'm missing. Where if you had an extra set of minions, it's pretty cool. So Wraithlord is kind of awkward that it deletes the specters, deletes the non-specters, because you kind of do want something else. So then, yeah, fill it out, Desecrate, Flame Dash, Cast on Death Portal. You could put, I put all the links of where you would put all the stuff, so it all fits. You can fit everything in the build. I was even able to put extra increased duration generosity on your anger. It would probably raise the mana. Maybe you don't run the gen. You'd have to find out in the actual. Then you have an extra gem socket, so that's cool too. I got the phase run, increased duration efficacy with your Vaal Impurity of Fire to increase the duration of that, and technically has Vaal Haste still fitting in the build, and I put it on the generosity, so it's slightly better. But yeah, overall, the fact that there's so many uniques, and it's honestly, Soul's Wick is way cooler than this. especially with all the crit changes. You could really crit, and then without the power charges, like this is actually a build. This is holy shit, man. That is so much crit chance. Like, guys, do you understand? At the lowest, the Soul's Wick is 800%. So this is even at the lowest on mine. Is this without the brittle? No, with brittle. With brittle and the without assassin's mark though. This is with sniper's mark. We get 100% crit, which is just 182 from a spirit offering and some tree, some on the tree. The 6 wheel on the tree, and the increased effect of the offering, and then zealotry. God damn, bro. So we have 100, and then we have all the crit multi, and you could get more crit multi. This is actually crazy. That one jewel. Look, so you don't even need a perfectly rolled one. It'll just be brittle and the base 6% from the goat. Almost just the brittle alone. I mean, just the goat alone does it. So if you did have a perfectly rolled it, you would almost get it. And then there's one more. You could instead of this, you could have assassin's mark. Yeah. Let's take a look at if it's better now. It's so close. It's so close. You might do this just to get the crit to 100% without even having brittle. But you do lose the increased damage taken from the assassin's mark, and it is, from the sniper's mark, and this is less damage, but they're very close. You also get the splitting projectiles on the other one too, but you also get the recovery. You could also get power charge generation off of assassin's mark, right? Hits against cursed enemies. The kills, right? You get kills and they generate power charges. Yeah, killing the cursed enemy will grant power charges. 100%. Yeah, so you get a 120% increased crit strike chance when they already have so much crit though. Not that needed. God damn though, dude. Does this one generate the frenzies? No. But yeah, we will get the split projectiles. With this is really cool. You might not even need the extra GMP or the greater volley for the clear. Just using sniper's mark sometimes. Mark on hit. You could also, yeah, you can mark on hit on this. The specters look pretty fun though. It's slight bait though in comparison. I'd recommend the golems if I was you guys. And then it's mostly Soul's Wick looks really insane with the new crit changes. We don't even know all the crit mods, all the crit multi, it just for now seems really crazy just based on seeing the spirit offering and also seeing the PoE planner for this extra crit multi node. 20% crit multi, 20 crit multi, 20 crit multi. With that much crit strike chance, that's the missing crit strike chance. Spectres look pretty good. I wonder who's going to do those. I think this is worth mentioning. So this build also, because you don't have minions, you want to maybe don't run in Vaal Impurity of Fire. There's this option again of you do the penetration, you do the curses, so you could be a curse bot, you could even cast stuff yourself, so you could get your own exposure through Wave of Conviction and do your own exposure to the one you do the most of, get 15%, and all that shit's pretty fun. And you could do more self-casting. And then I needed to show this combo, so you could also, since you don't have a glove that really does much for this, you could do Gravebind, share the kills, you could Legacy of Fury, you will Scorch everything nearby. Scorch reduces the enemy elemental resistance by 10%. So that is 10% more damage, basic, kind of. And then, not exactly, but yeah, then you have the chance, when you kill a Scorched enemy, to burn each surrounding enemy for 4 seconds, dealing 8% of the killed enemy's life as fire damage. So all you'd have to do is take the 1 point spiritual aid, so your damage gets scaled. And then you could wear this boot instead of Bones of Ullr with the Gravebind, and then you would be getting the kills of the nearby Scorched enemies and doing this burn thing and getting tons of clear speed. Be really, really, really powerful. So you can do that as well. Since you don't have an animate guardian, you could be the guardian. This is my point. You're like the aura bot, curse bot for your specter army because you have nothing else. So you have to kind of make up the difference for your minions. overall, after looking at all this, I probably won't be playing it because, maybe just for fun to try it out, like to try out a Souls Wick version, because I think this is the most powerful version of the Spectres, with this much increased crit strike chance with the crit multi-season, and then Spectres look pretty strong, and so that then in comparison against like an animate weapon, you could actually do this, and you don't need the Wraithlord, and like this looks really strong, and yeah, that seems like the way to do it in my opinion. And then I don't want to do temporary specters, but it seems so powerful that that'd be the way to do it. And then Wraithlord, it made me find that basically. This was really cool. It's funny that another item that was like kind of cool even when it first got changed, the Souls Wick, is now like, wow, that is really strong. Well, either way, thank you guys for watching. Thanks for hanging out. Let me know if you guys do decide to try something like this, how you improve it, what you guys changed, and let me know what other specters you thought about running in this. Thank you guys for watching. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. We have more builds to showcase. What about the Monogruel zombie, dude? That big zombie Monogruels buff. How good are they? True. See you guys in the next episode. Bye!